guys, my name is Tiffany and welcome back to my channel. I have another Upcycle by Little Toe for you today where I take old forgotten items and give them a new life. I'm so excited about today's video. I'm doing a thrift flip challenge with fellow YouTuber Adey Gunnin of Well Loved Clothing. Adey was a huge inspiration for me when I was first starting out my channel, so it is an honor to be doing this collaboration with her. If you love sewing, thrifting, or sustainable fashion, make sure you go and subscribe to her channel right now. I'm going to link her channel down below, and here she is to introduce herself.
Hi there, my name is Adey Gunnin and I run a small business called Well Loved Clothing where I focus on sustainability, thrift, vintage, and just expressing who you are through your fashion and having fun with your clothes. I am super excited to be here with Tiffany because I love a good thrift flip. You can find me on YouTube doing thrift flips or styling videos under Well Loved, or you can find me on Instagram and shop my store. So as I say on my channel, you are well loved. Let's get to this thrift flip.
If you've seen my other thrift flip challenge videos, you'll know that we have a $10 budget where we can thrift one or multiple items, but the challenge is that we have to turn all of those items into one cohesive outfit. Before I show you what Adey sent me, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and here is a little sneak peek of what I sent her. I just got to the thrift store and I'm so excited to pick out some challenge items for Adey. I know she really likes bright colors and bold patterns, so I'm gonna be on the lookout for things like that, so let's do this. I start by looking through all of the dresses and found some worthy contenders. Of course, I had to check the linen section, but unfortunately, the selection was not great today. I did find some great options in the sleepwear section, and I really wanted to buy her this set, but it was over budget. Here I am, packing up the items that I ended up buying, and make sure to head over to Adey's channel to see what I sent. The package that Adey sent me just got here, and I am so excited to open this. Just look how stunning this box is. I have absolutely no idea what she sent me, but I am so excited to find out. First up, there is this yellow, it's like a yellow orangey linen dress. Oh my god, she sent so many things. And then there's this sage green skirt. Oh my gosh. And this stunning floral dress. Oh, I'm so excited to get started. Let's take a closer look at the items Adey sent me, starting with the navy floral dress. I love this dress so much, I almost don't want to transform it into something else. It has the cutest collar that I will definitely try to incorporate in my final design. Next up is this yellow linen dress. I was pretty shocked to see that this was a size 2 because it has a pretty oversized fit, which is great because I'll have a lot of fabric to work with. Last but not least is the skirt. This sage green skirt is big on me, but I absolutely adore it. I love the color and I think this cut is so flattering. It's been a few days since I received Adey's package, and I've gone ahead and completely seam ripped the yellow dress as well as the blue floral dress, but I couldn't bring myself to seam ripping the green skirt apart because I just like it too much as a skirt. So I went ahead and altered it to fit me, and then I'll be using the extra fabric in this upcycle challenge. I came up with a few ideas on what I could turn these items into, but I can't quite make a decision, so I think I'm going to overachieve and I'm going to attempt to make 2 dresses. For the first dress, I'm thinking of a midi-length floral dress. Here are some of my inspo photos. I'm envisioning a dress that's really girly and flowy, super cottagecore, and perfect for frolicking in the fields. I'm going to be using most of the blue floral fabric for this, and then I'm going to use the green and yellow as accents. For the second dress, I'm thinking of something preppy but elevated, and here are some of my inspiration photos. This dress is going to be primarily made out of the fabric from the yellow dress, but I really wanted to use this collar that I saved from the floral dress. And then my plan to incorporate the green is to maybe make some fabric covered buttons to use on this dress. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first dress, and I'm going to be using this pattern that I made last year to create the bodice, and I'll link that video down below if you wanna check that out. Here are the pattern pieces I'll be using. I want my dress to have an open back, so I won't be using this center back piece. I also want a little cutout in the center front, so I'm folding this pattern piece to create the cutout. Cut these pieces from the fabric, and here are all of the pieces I'll need for the top. Now I'm going to sew these 3 pieces together as well as these 3 pieces, and you should have something that looks like this. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I did use iron-on interfacing on all of my bodice pieces for added stability. Using this strip of yellow linen, I'm going to place this on top of the princess seam. I'll top stitch along both edges, securing it in place. I made this by cutting a strip of fabric that is 3/4 of an inch wide and then folded the raw edges towards the center and then pressed with my iron. I'll sew this on both sides, and this is what it should look like now. Using some bias tape that I seam ripped from the yellow dress, I'm going to cover the raw edges of the cutout by sandwiching it between the bias tape and sewing to secure. I'll do this on both sides, and here is what it looks like sewn on. Now I'll cover the raw edge of the neckline with some DIY bias tape that I'll make from this 1-inch strip of fabric from the skirt. Here is what the top should look like now. I've gone ahead and cut 4 long 1-inch strips of fabric from the skirt, and I'll cover the rest of the raw edges the same way, sandwiching them between the DIY bias tape and sewing to secure, and you should have something that looks like this. These will be the straps of the dress that I'll tie together in bows later. Now I'll place these 2 pieces right side spacing and sew together along the center front, and here is what the top looks like so far. Moving on to the back of the top. I'm going to sew a piece of elastic to join these 2 pieces, and I'll cover that elastic with this piece of fabric. I'm folding it right side spacing and sewing together along this edge to create a channel. Here is what the piece looks like turned to the right side, and I'll be using 1/2 inch elastic. As you can see here, I've attached safety pins to both ends of the elastic, and I'm going to feed it through the tube. I'll sew down on both sides to secure the elastic in place, and you should have something that looks like this. I'll sew the elastic here, joining the 2 back pieces, and this is what the top should look like now. At this point, I realized that I would have to insert a zipper to be able to put the dress on, so I seam ripped this side seam open, leaving the top 2 inches still sewn together. Here is a close-up of what the top looks like so far. Now that the top is done, I'm going to start working on the skirt, and the first thing I'm going to do is just cut out the length of fabric I need for the length of skirt that I want. This is the skirt that I seam ripped from the original dress. I've pinned the hem together so that nothing shifts and I can cut both layers of fabric at the same time. The new skirt that I'm planning on making will have a top section and a bottom section. I'm measuring 23 inches from the hem and marking with pins and then cutting, working my way across the entire skirt. This large piece will be the bottom section of my new skirt, and I'll use this piece along with some leftover fabric I have from the top of the original dress to make the top portion of my new skirt. I'm going to be using a pattern that I use pretty frequently in my videos. I actually just used it to make this skirt in my last video. I'm going to use the exact same pattern, but I'm just going to shorten it by about 4 inches. Here are the pieces I cut out for the front of my skirt. I've cut these panels so that they line up with the corresponding bodice panels. I'll sew these pieces together, and here is what the front of the skirt should look like. Here is the wrong side, and again I've used some lightweight iron-on interfacing. As you can see here, I've also sewn on the yellow strips of fabric on top of each seam. Moving on to the back of the skirt. Here are the pieces I cut out for the back. I'll go ahead and sew them together, and it should look something like this. This measurement is bigger than my actual waist, and I chose not to add darts here because I will be elasticizing the center section instead. Now I'm placing my front skirt piece right side spacing, and I'll sew this side seam together, but only sew the bottom section of the other side seam, leaving this section open for the zipper. This is what the top section of the skirt should look like now. Here is the large piece of fabric from earlier. I'm going to sew a basting stitch along this raw edge and gather the fabric until it matches the top section of the skirt, and then I'll sew these 2 pieces together. Here are the 2 pieces pinned right side spacing, and I'll sew with a straight stitch to secure. This is what the completed skirt should look like. I'll be attaching the bodice to the skirt with a waistband, so I cut out this 1 1/4 inch strip of fabric that matches the width of the front of the skirt, and then this longer strip that matches the width of the back of the skirt. Using the lining from the original green skirt, I cut out these 2 pieces to use on the underside of my waistband. Now I'm going to sew these pieces together, creating one long waistband. I'm pinning my waistband right side spacing onto the bottom of my top. Then I take the lining and pin it right side spacing to the wrong side of the top, sandwiching the bottom edge of my bodice between the waistband and the lining. I'm going to continue to do this, working my way around the entire top. Now I'll sew to secure, and this is what it should look like. I've pressed the waistband and lining, but you can see here that the top is sandwiched between those 2 layers. Now I'm going to sew the waistband to the skirt. This time I'm only pinning the waistband right side spacing to the top of the skirt. Don't worry about the lining layer for now. I work my way all the way around, and then I'll sew with a straight stitch. Here is what it should look like sewn on, but you guys already know I'm super particular when it comes to sewing, and these yellow pieces don't line up, so I'm going to seam rip this section apart and start over. Take 2, and everything is lining up and is looking so much better. For the front, I finished the waistband by stitching in the ditch, making sure I catch the lining underneath. Moving on to the back, you can see here that I have not sewn the lining in place. I'm going to start by sewing this section, so I'll stitch in the ditch here. This has created a channel that I will use to insert my 1/2 inch elastic. Again, I've attached safety pins to both ends, and I'm going to feed it through the channel. I'm going to sew both ends of the elastic to the waistband, securing it in place, and then I'll continue to stitch in the ditch, securing the rest of the lining to the dress. Here is what the back of the dress should look like now, and we are almost done with this dress. We're going to close up this opening with an invisible zipper, and here is the finished dress. So I'm feeling a little torn right now because I am so happy with how this dress turned out, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to make the second dress before the reveal with Adey. I'm definitely going to make the second dress because I want to use that gorgeous collar, so I'll probably post a second video hopefully by next week. I'm slightly disappointed in myself for not finishing the second dress and not reaching the goals that I set out for myself, but I am really excited to show Adey this dress.
Hi! Hey! Oh my gosh, how are you?
I'm so well, how are you?
Good! It's so nice to officially kind of face-to-face meet you.
First of all, I just wanted to thank you for agreeing to do this challenge with me. I have honestly been such a long-time fan of your channel and you. Your vibes are so good. So I'm so happy that you agreed to do this. And before I show you what I made, would you remind everybody what you got me?
Okay, so I first wanted to find a pattern that you would really like because I've watched a couple of your videos and you have such a beautiful palette of colors. But I heard you in your last thrift flip that you did that the like bright green was just scary and a little bold. And so I wanted to send you something that was a pattern since I love pattern, but something still muted and beautiful. And so I found that first navy dress with that amazing collar. And I wasn't sure if you were gonna do something with the collar, but I just thought it was the perfect pattern for you. And so then I pulled some of those colors from it and sent a olive skirt, and it was just the beautiful green tone that pulled some of the greens out of the dress. And then I'm trying to remember the other piece. I know it was like a buttery yellow, and I think was it a dress?
Yes.
Okay, it's been like a month since I sent it to you, so I was like, I honestly don't remember. But it was like a butter yellow dress, and I just thought all the colors looked so good together, and I wanted to give you a ton of fabric, and so I am so excited to see what you made.
Okay, so first of all, my plan was to overachieve and make 2 dresses, which I did not make 2 dresses because I just did not have enough time, but I still plan on making the second dress. The yellow dress has not been made yet. It's still in pieces, but I did finish the blue floral dress, and yeah, I sent it to you so you can have a look at it now.
Yay, I'm going to pull it up. Oh my gosh, you're kidding. Tiffany! The back on this dress, the piping. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. How in the world do you even come up with this? I'm like freaking out. I love the drop waist. The piping, so is that, did you actually put like boning in there or is it?
No, there's no boning, but I basically just made like a bunch of like bias tape, like fake bias tape. It's not cut on the bias at all. It's just like strips.
Just strips. That's totally what happens with mine. That floral on you is like amazing too. I'm like proud of myself.
I honestly loved the dress like itself. Like everything about the dress that you sent me, I was like, I don't want to take this apart.
That's honestly my problem. Every time I do a thrift flip, I'm like, I don't want to tear anything apart, but I need to. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. I'm floored. I would never expect that. It fits so beautifully. Like your tailoring, queen. Like absolute queen when it comes to your tailoring. I love it so much. You did an incredible job.
Adey, thank you so much for doing this. Honestly, it's been like a dream to like do this collaboration with you. I'm just so excited that we got to do this. And yeah, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much too. It was just such a fun challenge, and this was just, I want to do thrift flips like this forever now. Like this is the way I want to do them. So thank you for introducing me to it.
We can set one up for like in a few months.
Absolutely, yes. These will be my forever thrift flips.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you go to Adey's channel to see what she made. It is so cute, so go watch her video right now. If you guys like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this thrift flip challenge and if there's anyone you'd like me to do a collab with. Stay tuned for the second dress that I will hopefully be posting next week, and as always, thank you so much for watching.